Welcome to The Bridge, an urban church planting podcast by the Arkansas Baptist State Convention. Hear personal stories, practical tips, and missional strategies to bring you insights and encouragement on your church planting journey. Coming to you live from Little Rock, here are your hosts, Neal, Scoggins, and Chanson Newborn.
Welcome to the Bridge broadcast. This is Chanson Newborn, along with my trusty buddy, my friend, my pal.
He said my trusty buddy.
Yeah, Neal Scoggins.
You real high energy today, dude.
Yeah.
I'm trying to...
My buddy, my pal.
No. See, let's correct something real quick. You said it on the last podcast about me being your pal.
You are.
Too many brothers use the word pal.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I don't use the word pal. I mean, we can, but I don't. I'm allergic to the word pal.
You're my homie. What's up?
There you go.
How about that?
I take that one. Yeah.
So how you doing, Neal?
Yeah, I'm good, pal.
All right, homie.
Good. You know what? Let me tell you something. I am excited about our topic today. Of course, we're dealing with summertime and all of that, but I'm excited about our guest because anytime Charles comes around, whether we're doing a podcast or just having a conversation, we always, Charles, I'm going to just tell you this, and I'm just saying this, not because you're here, but I'm saying it just in general. I always learn something.
Oh, man, you kind.
Yeah, no, I'm serious,
really.
man. I'm serious. Pastor Charles Simmons of Connect Church in multiple cities.
We're trying to do a little something.
Trying to do a little something. Man, it's
both
I'm
in Conway and he's planting in Little Rock.
Yeah.
So some exciting things are taking place at Connect Church,
in
Little Rock.
Absolutely.
And so we're excited to have you with us today, and we're going to talk about a topic that a lot of people some churches haven't opened. Right. There's some churches that haven't opened, and most have, but there are churches that haven't opened. For Sunday morning service,
or for anything.
Right,
some churches haven't done anything.
Right, and there's some churches that's trying to think through what to do next, even though they've opened. And this is summertime, and usually Vacation Bible School is the outreach tool that reaches a lot of kids, it reaches a lot of community, and it's a powerful tool. Usually VBS, a lot of people, you get a lot of people that a lot of kids that what.
I'll keep going because you keep hitting the table.
Oh, yeah. A lot of kids. I'm sorry. You get a lot of kids that, you hear the gospel. They respond to the gospel. A lot of activities. And, a church is able to say, hey, listen, we had 15, 20, 30 kids. And COVID kind of interrupted that. But now we're trying to get back in the rhythm of life. Yeah. Get back into the rhythm of opening church and particularly with church planters, how do you navigate through this season and still be able to implement Vacation Bible School? And so, we want to talk a little bit about VBS post-COVID. So how do you do that? How do you do that? So there are those churches that say, hey, listen, we can't do that. We can't do VBS. Yeah. You have written it off. And so we want to kind of talk a little bit about, ways that you can do Vacation Bible School. You can connect and reach your community. And one of the reasons why we have you here, Charles, is because you are, as we speak, you're doing Vacation Bible School right now.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was one of the reasons why we wanted to pull you in, because, hey, you're doing Vacation Bible School, doing an incredible job at it. And we want to kind of pick your brain, kind of talk through that, kind of lay out some principles of some things that we can encourage other church planters who, number one, may say, listen, we're not thinking about doing VBS, and or those that say, listen, we want to do it, but we're kind of stuck. We don't know what to do.
Right.
How do you do it? And, post-COVID. So that's why we pulled in an expert to do that.
Well,
So,
you're the expert.
You are the expert.
You're the expert now.
Well, I am not the new expert.
Yeah. So let me ask you this before we start. So here's the thing. So you're in the middle of VBS right now with Connect Church in Little Rock. Here's the question I have to ask. Go all the way back in your brain when you were younger. Do you remember because see, I believe, and this is just my opinion, y'all may think that I'm wrong. How was Vacation Bible School as you grew up? Now, I know you didn't grow up in church. It was not, but did you experience VBS back in the day?
I did. There was something.
What was it like?
I'm going to tell you what I remember. Popsicles.
That okay? Come on,
I remember the
that's what I'm
popsicles.
saying.
I remember the
Are you
ices.
serious?
Yeah, I remember the ices.
Yeah.
I don't remember mess about Jesus, but I do remember the ices. I do remember the ices. That's it. I remember fun. I remember having fun.
Yeah.
And I remember being a safe environment. And so,
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I think that's really important too because I think it does give us an idea that on what a child is actually able to retain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what a child is actually able to retain as it relates to, because sometimes I think sometimes the information that we want to give children is information that we really should be giving adults.
That's
So we
what?
have to
That's
kinda-
good.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
real good.
So, Charles, what were some of the ways that they made you feel safe? I mean, you're a kid.
Yeah.
Strangers
I
are
don't know
coming into
nothing
your
about
neighborhood.
You're right.
You know, strangers are coming into the block. You know, they come, and asking you to come. So,
some popsicles.
what were ways that they made you feel safe?
Yeah, I think that first of all, the place that we were going to was a safe place. It was a known place, so it was sort of well known place. But it was also they were highly relational, right? So they acted like they cared, even though we knew that they were not necessarily residents of the community.
Well, you're being real safe with that.
They were not residents of the community.
They did not
It
grow
made
up.
me feel very
They didn't
safe.
grow up there, okay? But they were really relational. They actually like they really cared. And I think they just kind of they offered things that was basically kind of enticing to our demographic or at least our age
Gotcha.
in that area.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Why do you think you remember just the popsicles and the fun? I'm interested because Chanson talked about that safe place too. So because I believe that you said it in the order that was most important.
Right.
Popsicles, fun, and safe place. Why that order? Why popsicles first?
I grew up in Texas. And it was hot, so I remember the popsicles. But no,
Well,
I
there
think
you
the
go.
first thing is, I think it's just like if you kind of equate it to fishing, right? You don't just throw out whatever you want to catch the fish, right? You do need to at least have an idea on what they like to eat.
Yeah.
So kids, it doesn't matter what demographic they are, it doesn't matter what age they are. Kids I'm an adult, I like to have fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So kids, first of all, like to have fun. So I think that's the first thing I remember. No matter what lessons I would have learned, had the experience not been fun, I wouldn't have remembered it. That's one thing.
Gotcha.
Kids love snacks.
Yeah, you got that right.
My son,
Charles,
Bryson,
I
is
love
9
snacks.
years old. I love snacks,
Yeah.
okay? Call me Sweet Tooth Charles, all right?
Sweet Tooth Charles.
That sounds like a street name or something.
I know that's
Come on, sweet tooth.
But it's my son right now is Bryson. He's 9 years old, okay? Bryson is 9 years old. We have enrolled Bryson in basketball camp.
Okay.
All right? Bryson's supposed to start basketball camp tomorrow. It's the last day of VBS. But Bryson heard that tomorrow he's going to be able to get double snacks.
Okay.
So Bryson has told Mom, you can forfeit your registration fee
Yep.
because tomorrow
Yeah.
I can get double snacks.
Yeah.
Okay? He's more interested in the snackums.
Yeah.
The snackums than he
Wow.
is going to the basketball camp. So I think as a kid, those are the things that you remember. You remember what you received. Right? The what's in it for me kind of situation.
Yeah.
But you also you remember the fun that you had. And those are opportunities that ultimately are seeds, right? That opens up the door for the main thing, which is the gospel, the safe place, those type of things.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, man. So go ahead and go down the road with the safe place, please, because you talked about the snacks and the fun. But what made you remember that it was what happened around you to make you remember that it's a safe place?
Well, I remember the building itself, the church that we actually had went to. I remember, and this may sound a little funny on my end, but I grew up in a pretty rough neighborhood, right? So we were always hearing gunshots and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But we wasn't hearing this at this church. I remember the grass, believe it or not, being very manicured
At the church.
At the church, I remember the grass being very manicured. I remember how clean
How
the
old were you?
driveway was. I had to be younger than 9 because my parents got a divorce when I was 9. So they were still married in this time. So it had to be when I was younger than 9.
Wow.
Yeah, 9 or younger. So or they separated when I was 9. So I remember that, and I remember the building. The building just felt safe. Like it didn't feel like it was just a put together, barely making it. A windstorm come through and it's over type of building.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So the building itself, felt safe.
Yeah, that's real cool. So if you're gonna do a good VBS, you got to have green grass that's nice, manicured, and a building that nobody can blow up.
Well, I think there are creative ways, and I'm sure we'll get to this, or we'll probably talk about this a little later. But there are creative ways to do VBS without even having a building.
Wow.
But you do need to make sure that you are as excellent as possible in whatever environment
you're
that
in.
you're going to do VBS
That's good.
in.
That's good. That's good. Go ahead, Chanson.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to just jump in.
No.
No,
You're good. And so, there are those that say, "Hey, listen, I'm not sure that we are able to do VBS. Because we probably haven't opened, but we're thinking about doing it." Mm-hmm. And so, I think one principle that we can pull out is you have to be flexible. Mm-hmm. You really have to be flexible.
Yeah.
The traditional approach to VBS is, hey, you do it Sunday and do it for a whole week. But given that we're still in the residue of COVID, you can be flexible and still, just as you're doing right now. You can be flexible and still be able to do VBS. What are ways that you can be flexible? So you're encouraging our listeners to say, hey, listen, you can move forward and do VBS, but you have to be willing to be flexible. What does that flexibility look like?
Yeah, I think we need to know that there is no holy grail when it comes to VBS.
Yeah,
that's real good.
There is no anything that you read on VBS is going to be advisement. There is nothing that says you have to do it this way.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And I think that's really important, even as relates to how you feel like you've always done it. Mm-hmm. Not only are we in post-COVID, somewhat in this post-pandemic era right now, but we are in a post-Christianity. In other words, we are living in a time where people don't wake up saying, "I'm ready to get to church."
Yeah,
that's true.
Okay,
yeah.
So we have to be more flexible. We have to be more adaptable. Sometimes, I would say the very first area is before you think about what you can't do, think about what God can do.
That's real good.
Yeah. Before you think about what you can't do, like consult with God in prayer. Start praying because sometimes you need God to open up your mindset past what you're normally used to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So be praying. Some of the things that we did this time going around, and tomorrow is our last day, but this is what we've already learned. We've already learned that we're going to have to flip the time.
Okay.
Because we started. We did VBS this year. We did a Sunday kickoff, right? Mm-hmm. Because we wanted parents to wanted them to feel safe.
Yeah.
Whose hands their children was going to be in.
Right.
We did a Sunday kickoff.
Yeah.
At like 4 p.m.
Okay.
But then we did Monday through Thursday. We're doing Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 11:30. So that's one thing. It's only 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
But we didn't realize that summer school started on the same day that
Yeah.
we did.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
We didn't realize. So the
Okay.
community that we're in, we're driving by kids, and we're like, we never seen you all. But they're like not coming to VBS. They're getting on the other bus.
They're
The bus is going-
They're going to the
The
summer
bus is
school.
going to
They go to
school,
summer.
right?
There you go.
School.
So we're already thinking to ourselves, okay, we're ready. We're going to have to flip this, right? Knowing when the actual school schedule is, but also be prepared to flip this instead of maybe morning.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to do this
it
in the evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just one thing. Being flexible in time, being flexible in season, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe we've even talked about maybe not doing it immediately after school. Maybe waiting a few weeks or maybe a couple of months. And I'm gonna tell you something else. Maybe even waiting a week before school actually starts to do a vacation Bible school versus kind of feeling like you have to fill the summer. Maybe you can do it as ending the summer.
Like a back to school.
Yeah, almost like a back to
bash.
school thing. Let's give you Jesus before you get ready to go into this major worldly
But you have to
school
be willing to be flexible with your schedule.
Right.
In order and the calendar and the season in order to do that.
Right.
Yeah, because you know what? There's something that you just mentioned right there. And I think sometimes we overthink the times that we do it. Mm-hmm. We overthink it, but at the same time, we end up putting stuff in a box.
Yeah.
So like you said, hey, we got to do it. You know, it's called vacation Bible school. So vacation time is from this time to this time, and we can only do it during those times. But flexibility says this: as a parent, there is 9 times out of 10, as a parent, there is a week right after school is over that no summer camp starts, and a week before school starts that every summer camp is shut down.
Exactly.
So I'm like, I'm just gonna be honest, because I got a 9-year-old too. I'm trying to find somewhere to send that.
Right.
Because he ate up all my snacks.
I'm looking now.
You know, he is eating up all my Cheetos.
Send them off somewhere.
You know what I'm saying? So just trying to figure out that rhythm. Now, and here's the other thing about being flexible. How, and I'm just curious, how new to the area, how much buy-in, and I may be getting off a little bit, did the local community have on this first one?
That's good.
On the VBS that you did, Vacation Bible School.
Yeah,
that's really good. So that's a good question. I think when you think about buy-in, don't just think about like tangible results that you see. So if you assess your buy-in only based off the attendance that came, then you may miss you may end up missing an opportunity or have mismanaged the assessment. You know what I'm saying? In other words, so I didn't just look at the buy-in based off. If I just did the buy-in based off the number of people who showed up, I would say, well, man, we got 2 families in 72204 who are concerned, right? Yeah. But when we canvassed the area, we literally had 750 invites. We got all of them out personally. Okay. Wow. So
how far ahead did y'all do that? Go ahead.
So that's a good question. We did that. We did it. We probably started out about a month out, all the way up until a week ago. So all the way up until a week before.
So post-COVID, you and your team went out and personally handed out flyers and even in the midst of the season, you still went out.
Let me make sure I say this.
Yeah.
This is a church plant, right? We don't even launch until January. Projected launch in January this year.
Right.
So the only way we was able to do that was with our the partnership between our church, First Baptist Little Rock.
Right.
There you go.
Their team, their volunteers from their church, and then our team together went out and canvassed the area.
But you still had the willingness to go out, and to try to touch your neighbors and build relationships, even in a time when people are saying, we shouldn't open. And listen, I am. Let me be sensitive to the leadership that have made decisions not to open. I understand that. I get that. So I'm not diminishing that. But for those who are thinking about, hey, we're going to open and we're ready to, or church planners, we're ready to go out and do outreach. We're ready to just connect with the community. It's okay to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
I'm just trying to give people permission.
Well,
it's okay to do that.
But I believe that we have to give people permission to be able to continue to
safely,
be the church. Safely to be the church.
Do that.
Regardless of where you are on the spectrum, regardless of where you are, that you're like, hey, I'm going to stay in the house and I'm going to order stuff from food and I got YouTube TV and all of that, or I'm going to do something totally different in the middle. We have to have permission. We have to give ourselves permission to still be the church in whatever representation that is. Right. Your representation, you chose 750, and then those volunteers, not only from Connect Church, but also First Baptist Little Rock, your partner, you said, you know what, we agree, and that's the direction we're going to go. And I think, which is a major, we're not talking about this, but I believe that we have to have that flexibility to give ourselves that permission.
Right.
We got to be at peace with what direction we're going, how we're going to get it out.
I also think that we shouldn't make decisions for people. So although there is no way I would know what spectrum you are on, Chanson, and what spectrum you are on, Neal, without you telling me. So instead of me making the decision for the community and saying they don't want any interaction, I decided to say, let's train our people to be sensitive to it, and then let them tell us to get off their property.
Right. You know what?
Let them tell us, get off my property. Right.
There you go.
So we trained them. We said, hey, leave your mask on, knock on the door, and once you knock, back up 6 to 7 feet.
That's good.
So that you can be away from, so that we can be sensitive. Then we will let them let us know how they feel.
That's real good.
And that demonstrates a level of respect. I'm respecting you. I'm being sensitive to you and your home.
Yeah. Right.
I have my mask, but yet and still, there's a mandate for me to invite you. There's a mandate for me to share the gospel. There's a mandate for me to love my neighbor. I'm still going to do that.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's good.
Remember when it comes to flexibility, man, the calendar serves you, right? You don't serve the calendar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you don't have to feel like that you have to do it a certain way or do it in a certain season. And just, I want to make sure I say this one last thing in the flexibility area is remember that the season that you're doing it versus the season you're planning in. So the season we planned it in, we was like, we're going to do it in the daytime because it was still getting dark early.
Yeah.
Then when we actually did it, it's like, oh, snap, we could have did it in the evening and still had daytime.
You know what? Say that one more time, because that's major.
Yeah.
Consider the season that you're going to do it in, and not get stuck in the season that you're planning.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's real good.
Yeah.
That's real.
Write
good.
that down, guys.
Yeah, that's major right there. So Charles, here's the deal. You know, I remember as a church planner, my first vacation Bible school, dude, we had no money.
Yeah.
We had
Trust me
nothing.
when I say I understand that. For some reason, I really resonate with that.
Yeah, I imagine you do. So, I mean, because here's the excuse, man. Church planters, churches that are reorganizing, whatever, that are going to preaching points, whatever, that you're going to an area. One of the biggest pushbacks that we get, that I hear, are, man, I flat don't have money.
Yeah, it's not in our budget.
It's not in our budget. You know, COVID has taken away some of our capital expense money. And we got to get all of this stuff to go online, and we got to do whatever we're doing. So how do you, I got limited resources. I mean, how do you address that? How do you know, y'all did it anyway. You're a church plant, man.
Yeah, I would say that most people would probably say the event of VBS is not in the budget, but the purpose of VBS is always in the budget.
Ooh, that's real good.
The event of VBS says, I need this, I need that, I need that. You're thinking about the tangible things. You're thinking about all the stats. The purpose has always been to reach the lost or to reach someone who's disconnected from Christ with the sake of the gospel.
So
the purpose is always in their budget.
Yeah.
Now you have to ask yourself, what are you willing to do to fulfill that purpose?
Instead of laying the excuse out front, and saying, okay, money first, you back into it, and say, okay, here is something, and I hesitate to use the word mandate, but it's our responsibility. We're gonna be in church. This is what we do. So okay, this is what we got to do. Well, let's back into how we're going to do
to fulfill this purpose.
To fulfill this purpose.
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
we're going to do. Yeah.
And giving it. And so what I hear you say is giving a clear vision, casting vision to your people as to the purpose of it.
Yeah.
And not to necessarily to the event. Because if they just focus on the event, it's easy for me to say we don't have the money. But, but if I'm casting vision for the purpose of it, we have there's a generous donor in all of our congregation.
Right.
Yeah.
And even if it's not in the even if that person isn't in the congregation, that person is within your circle.
Yes.
That's real good.
That person that organization is somewhere within your circle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So don't start out. This is one thing I challenge. Your brain is like a muscle, or it is a muscle, right?
It is, yeah.
And every muscle has to be trained. You never know the extent of the strength or the longevity, right? Or the endurance of a muscle until you take it there. So if you start your conversations out on why we can't versus starting your conversations on how we can, then you have limited the extent in which the muscle of your brain can actually think. So start challenging your team. Not who cares about the event of VBS, but who cares about the purpose of reaching somebody.
Yeah.
That's disconnected from Christ.
That's real good. That's so, because then it shifts the weight, the momentum, and the mindset. The creative juices stop flowing about all of the stuff I gotta get. And we start to lean on, you know what? Okay, here's the purpose.
Right.
Here's the reason why we get. Now, I got to get to Mississippi. I got to get to Milwaukee.
Yeah, exactly.
So, ain't no choice for me to sit here at the bus stop.
Right.
So how am I going to get from here? All I got is a bicycle and an expired bus ticket.
Come on.
How am I going to get to Mississippi? And if we start to do that, and what you're saying is, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, so are you saying, if we start to operate like that, then we make the main thing the main thing, and all these other things will be added.
Yeah.
You can sit back, exactly. You can sit back and say, Lord, I've been fishing all day, and I haven't caught nothing.
There you go.
Or you can say, I don't even believe yet, but at your word.
That's right.
I dropped this net.
That's it.
Yeah.
God, that's heavy, man.
Yeah.
That's real.
So that church planter that's out there that's saying, listen, I don't have the money to do this. we're now telling them, yeah, you do have the money to do it.
Yeah.
The money is there.
Yeah.
You know, we just have to cast that vision of the reason why we're doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and and the resources may not be in the house, but they're around the house.
Oh, yeah,
That's
that's
right.
somewhere.
You know, it may not necessarily be in the
somewhere.
congregation, but there's a circle of influence of people that you can call up and say, "Hey, Uncle Joe,
Right.
hey,
Yeah.
we're trying to reach the lost. We're trying to reach our community. We're trying to reach these kids,
Right.
And we need X amount of dollars to be able to
Right.
buy this material. Or
Yeah.
would you be willing to invest
Yeah.
in these children? Being
Absolutely.
invested in our neighborhood, invest. So the opportunity is there.
Right.
You just have to be willing to at your word to be willing to do it.
Yeah.
Right. And it goes back to that flexibility too. Because remember, no one says you have to do VBS a certain type of way.
Yeah.
So when you're
Yeah.
casting a vision, make sure you're casting it for the way you want to do it. Because that $20 that Unc can give can take care of most of your waters. Right?
That's right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
Now you got
That's
all your
right.
drinks. So just when you're thinking through your budget, make sure you're thinking through what you need for how God is leading you to actually do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Versus how you feel like you got to do it.
Yeah.
And another, I heard you earlier when you said I had partners that came alongside.
Yes.
You know, being able to
Absolutely.
explore
Yeah.
outside.
He said
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Being able to think outside of the box and partner with a local organization, partner with a sending church or a church that supports you or
Yeah.
or what you know, a 501c3, whatever organization that a
Parachurch
partnership, a
ministry,
parachurch
that-
ministry
yeah,
that are partner with you in what you're doing. And so we have to really just think outside of the box and say, yes, I can do this.
Right.
We can do VBS.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we don't have the money. The money's there.
Yeah.
And
The
there's
resources-
the resources are there.
there.
The resources there. And I think we have to stop looking at just that one thing because
Right.
sometimes it's not money.
Right.
Sometimes it is resource.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's a manager at a kid's toy store.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's whatever,
Yeah.
somebody that can donate candy. At
But
the
Neal,
candy
one of the things I'm thankful for with our Arkansas Baptist churches, that our churches have a heart not only for our church planters, but they have a heart to come alongside our churches and to partner with our churches in whatever efforts and whatever mission that they're trying to accomplish. You know, I'm just throwing kudos out there for our Arkansas churches
That's right.
that does an incredible job. You know, Emmanuel Baptist. I don't want to start naming.
Yeah.
You got First Baptist Little Rock
Yeah.
and coming alongside you. You know,
And I think
and I'm
that's
so
important.
thankful for those churches
Yeah.
Right.
who have the willingness to partner
Right.
and
Yeah.
the willingness to come alongside and do
Yeah.
that. And so, you know, we cooperate together and
That's
partner
right.
together.
That's right.
For the sake of the gospel.
Yeah.
And so the resources are there.
Yeah.
And
one of those resources too is just to make sure that I wanted somebody to make sure they're thinking about this is we use this year last year's curriculum.
Come on,
We
deal
were
with
able
that.
to-
Deal
yeah.
with that.
We were
Hey, y'all,
able
we
to
did that.
Yeah, see, there are a lot
A
of
lot of us
churches
did.
We did that,
have
y'all.
already who had the budget,
Yep.
have already paid for some of the resources that you
Yeah.
can vamp and make new
That's right.
right now in the time that you do VBS, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, and there are a lot of, if you can get with some churches and kind of start preparing for the future, you can go ahead and start talking with churches even right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
For your
For
next
next
year
year.
or for your next couple of months, or it
Yeah.
could be a week after. There's been times we've even used churches who did it 1 week in somewhere across town.
Y'all, that was us.
No, that was
Y'all,
us.
That's exactly.
We used 2016 material in 2018.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So what we did, let me tell you what we did. So what we ended up doing was I would go to that church, a larger church that was in our area, and I would say, hey, you guys are doing VBS? They were like, yeah. I said, when are you doing? We're doing it this week. I'm like, they said, when are you doing? I said, ironically, we're doing it the week after you guys.
Yes.
So when did you plan that? Just now. We just figured out we go do it.
So can we use your material?
Yeah.
So this is what
Their
they
props,
did.
their material, all
Everything.
of that.
This is
Yeah.
what they did when they found out
Yeah.
that we were going to do it. Because, and this is not a shameless plug, this is a relationship plug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the churches and the family of the Arkansas Baptist State Convention, because they knew that our purposes aligned
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they knew that we were serious about reaching the unsaved
Yeah.
to present the gospel, contextualize the gospel in a way that they couldn't do. What they said, well, this is what we'll do. We will order just a little more of the
Wow.
material,
Yeah.
so that when we finish, we know you automatically have that plus whatever else you have.
Oh, wow.
So budget
Oh, wow.
is not, we have to look at budget not just in a way that it is money, but it is resource. Relationship
Right.
is a resource.
Oh, yeah.
Relationship
Oh, that's
is
good.
a resource.
I need
yeah.
a pen there.
Yeah.
Relationship
Post that.
is a
Post that.
resource.
Yeah. Tweet that.
Hashtag.
Hashtag relationship is a resource.
So we have to be flexible.
Yeah.
We have to be we realize that we have a budget to be able to do that.
That's right.
There are resources.
Yeah.
And what's the last one, Neal?
Well, and you have to, and here's the thing, and I want you to dig into this one about preparing
your people.
Your people.
Yeah.
Now, because here's the deal, dude. You could have you flexible, you ready. You can have $250,000
Yeah.
to drop golden eggs out of a helicopter like chickens on WKRP or turkeys. You can have all of that, but if your people and your partners are not ready,
Yes.
it will be
Yeah.
the biggest flop that the neighborhood has ever seen.
No,
So you were
absolutely.
talking about this earlier before we started recording. I want to go. Let me cut across the field with this one. If you had to do it all over again, I know you got a day left, but what would you do?
What would you do differently?
Yeah, what would you
As
do
it relates
differently
to
with
equipping the
preparing-
people and preparing the people?
Doc.
Yeah, I think if there was something I could do, one thing that I could do differently, as relates to the preparation of the people, well, as relates to VBS, I think I probably would give them a realistic aspect of results. That's one thing for sure.
That's
And
dig
this is what
into that a
this is
little
what I mean by that. We're a church plant. So one of the things you will want to see, like right off top, is a large number of people that you can
Yeah.
count. Well,
Yeah.
on our first day, now I want a church planter to hear this because this is no fluff. On our
Yeah.
first day, one person showed up that was outside of our partnership community.
That's
Yeah.
a win,
So,
though, baby.
It's
That's
a win. But
Yeah.
see, now here's the deal, though. Sometimes, not just the people that you have on your team, but even those who you partner with, there may be an expectation in your head, right?
Yeah.
That you may that when if that doesn't play out that way, then you have to wrestle with the reality. Like, is
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
pleased?
Yeah.
Did we do all that we could do? Those type of things. So I think the first thing I would do is prepare people for, like, knowing that that what we do in VBS didn't just come out the sky. That
Yeah.
God dropped it in your heart, and that He had a plan over 2,000 years ago, knowing that you was going to do it on that day for even just the one person that comes through.
Right.
Yeah.
The second thing I do the second thing to do as relates to preparing for people is making sure that that you train them for the culture that you are reaching.
Yeah.
There you
That you
go.
train
That's good.
everybody
That's good.
for
Yeah.
the culture and the neighborhood that you are reaching. You want to give them insight on the type of people that you are reaching,
That's right.
so that you can kind of be prepared for for whatever may actually come your way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, and then you have to do your own, and I'm using this word until I die, cultural exegesis.
Yeah, you do.
You have to be the expert in the community.
Yeah.
Before your folks are experts in the community, and before your partners actually are experts in the community.
Yeah.
So you got to know, and I think those expectations actually come from you knowing the community as well.
Yeah, and we were able to, I'm new to the community, right?
Yeah.
But the reason why I'm able to know the names of people that are in my vicinity, the
across the
reason why I'm
street,
able
yeah.
to know what's going on in their families. We had a guy that came over today. His name is Reginald, young man, 19 years old, supervisor at McDonald's, goes from location to location training people. That's my first time meeting Reginald.
Wow.
But when Reginald came, I said, "Hey, I know you, Reginald," because I met Sean, his brother.
Okay.
And I said, I've been praying for you. I met
Wow.
your brother Sean, and he told me about you, and he also told me about your dad, Carlton. How is he doing? Because I've been praying for him. He told me he hadn't been feeling good. So I never met Reginald, but I knew his dad, and I knew his brother. He said, my dad is in the hospital. He just had his foot amputated. He's been in there for 2 weeks.
Man.
And not to shift it, but the reason why he felt comfortable telling me that is because I knew Sean,
Yes.
and I knew his dad, Carlton.
Yeah.
And if you train, the only way that you can really train your people for the culture is to actually get out there. Had I not said, let's go, not just send this direct mail, let's go knock on the doors.
Right.
Let's meet people. I would have never known them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ultimately wouldn't have been prepared when Reginald came.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think it's really important to understand, like, man, that you are training people for the work of God, not
Yeah.
just a successful event.
Yeah.
And we're praying for Reginald. We're praying for his family. We're praying for his dad, and we're just, we're glad to be able to kind of walk alongside them in life. And it all happened because of this VBS event at a church plant that hadn't even launched yet.
Yeah, and you never would have met him
Had
you made the decision to go ahead and do what you do. Charles, I'm so glad. We're going to bring you back because I know Charles is I know we say it all the time, but Charles is a great thinker. He has a lot of stuff going on, but matter of fact, he's on his way now to break camp and lead something else. In the middle of us talking, he may just take off and run away with what he's doing. But Charles, I'm so grateful that you're here praying for Connect Church. Been waiting for Connect Church
I appreciate
to start.
you, man.
So regardless of whether you started Sunday morning or not, just for you to have that VBS one day left as we record this. So hopefully we'll see some great fruit. I know we'll see some great fruit.
Oh, yeah.
Actually come from that. It's
Absolutely.
going to be some great stuff.
And you know the scripture says, some planted, some watered, but it's God to get an increase.
God get an increase. Doc, whether you
Amen.
plant or water, Doc, leave that increase to God. Charles, we have something at our podcast on The Bridge called Creative Ideas. So the 3 creative ideas that we can kind of lay out to a couple of people. One that you guys have already mentioned, and that's talking about using previous year's VBS material.
Absolutely.
So regardless of what you're doing now, let me extend that a little bit, whether it's VB, and for any church planner, whether it's VBS, small groups, Sunday school, regardless of what you're doing. Currently today, one of our small groups uses curriculum from 2016 or 2017.
Yeah.
And it is 2021. Because
Dust
the
it off
Bible-
and use it.
Yeah, dust it off and use it. The
Use
Bible
it.
is, matter of fact, it's better to use material that somebody else has used because they already got highlighted stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
You can just read
You're ahead of the
You
game.
can just read the highlights. So that's creative idea number 1. Creative idea number 2 is this: spread out a multiple day VBS, like back to back, and spread it out over a couple of Sundays. And I believe that you said that. You may get, if you got volunteers that are only available on a Sunday, and you spread it, you said, well, I can do Sunday, but I can't do another day. Dude, you got 4 weeks, and you got VBS for an entire month, which gives you 30 days of momentum. Because they do it on Sunday, and then they're waiting forever for it to actually come back. And then you talked, the third creative idea, you talked about pop-up VBS. Now explain that to me, what pop-up VBS is.
Well, I think there are a lot of churches, right, because of the pandemic, that may have lost their building or having to repurpose their building. I think there are a lot of church planners that may not necessarily have a building. But so don't think that you have to be limited to a building to do
That's
VBS.
good.
Man, pop up in the parking lot. Pop up in the park. Pop up, maybe partner with a business owner and do something on their property. Like do it in the backyard. There are ways that you can still do it. Just do a pop-up VBS. Nobody's ever did it. I make me want to do it all over again. That I know. Just do a
2022.
2022.
Pop-up VBS. Connect Church.
VBS. It started right
It's
here
going
on
down.
ABSC.
On the
bridge.
Yeah, dude. That's it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We're excited about that. And of course, if you guys have any ideas, any creative ideas that you want to share, because a lot of people listen so that they can get creative ideas. But if you have creative ideas that you want to share, you can email us at thebridge@absc.org. The Bridge, THEBRIDGE. I had to figure out how to spell the bridge. Yeah, like I'm a church planner. I ain't an English teacher. Yeah, the Bridge at absc.org. Charles Simmons, thank you so much,
Thank
man,
you
for being
having me,
here.
man. Thank
There
you
you
for
go.
having me.
Thanks for being on this episode of The Bridge. We'll catch you next time on The Bridge. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of The Bridge. We hope you learned something new and found some encouragement along the way. To learn more about church planting in Arkansas and to find more resources, visit absc.org and click the Church Planting tab. If you have a story, question to share, or a creative idea, email us at thebridge@absc.org. Be sure to rate and review if you liked what you heard.